And once you're on your mat, find your version of mountain pose that feels appropriate for this moment. Maybe your feet are hip distance apart, maybe they're wider, maybe they're all the way together, whatever feels auspicious for you in this moment. And then ground through your feet into the earth, really sensing your connection to the ground beneath you, sensing your connection to a greater community and a connection to all of your entire being. And then from that connection, invite a sense of expansiveness that travels up the body through the legs, maybe through the engagement of the quads as the kneecaps draw toward the hips, and then the engagement of the pelvic floor, the engagement of the belly button toward the spine, and then maybe a rolling up and back of the shoulders as your shoulder blades settle and ground on your back. From here, you might take a slight tuck of the chin as you bring your head in line with your spine, to fully arrive in this moment, to fully arrive in this space. Take 2 to 3 deliberate rounds of breath, standing here. Touching in with your body, touching in with your energy, touching in with your mind. And then with your next inhalation, let the arms travel up and overhead. And with the exhalation, let the arms travel down. We'll just do this a couple of times. On this next round, when the arms are overhead, keep them there, and then catch the left wrist with the right hand. And take a bit of a side bend to the right. Making your own decision whether you want to hold here for a moment or whether you want to move with the breath, inhaling up, exhaling to the left for a few times. So either holding or moving, your choice. Tuning into your own body, whether it needs to move right now or whether it just wants to luxuriate in holding a shape for a while. And if you're still holding on one side, with your next inhalation, come to center and then hold on the other side, moving there with an exhale. For those of us who are moving side to side, tune into your body and notice if you're hunching over when you side bend, and invite yourself to open the heart, to open the opposite shoulder, to stay open-hearted, to stay present. And then whether you're holding or moving, the next time you come up from the left side, stay upright and keep the arms lifted for a moment while the shoulder blades are settling down on your back, and then bring the arms into cactus. From here, draw the arms back and forth, just a few times, or just waking up the spine. So taking the 6 movements of the spine to get ourselves prepared and open. And the next time you are upright, go ahead and let the arms descend behind you. Clasp the hands behind your back. You might actually switch it up and let them clasp the way they always clasp first, and then switch it up and put the other pinky finger on the outside. This will feel really odd and really good in an odd sort of way. And then from here, let the arms rest on the low back as you bring yourself forward into a half lift with the arms resting on your back. And then whenever you feel ready, either with straight legs or with bent knees, whatever's auspicious for you, with an exhalation, release yourself into Yoga Mudra. Head moving toward the ground and hands moving toward the sky. It doesn't matter how high your arms reach here or how low your head reaches. What matters is that you consciously bring the head below the heart and invite a moment of reflection, a moment of introspection, a moment of attention to what is happening in your body, in your breath, and in your mind, as you're deliberately inverting, as you're deliberately bringing the head below the heart. With your next exhalation, return your hands to the low back. And then with an inhalation and a nice neutral spine, bring yourself to standing. Shake it out a little bit. Bring the arms to cactus. Take a few more standing cat-cows. And after your next time of coming upright, let the hands come behind you again, and we'll do Yoga Mudra one more time. Now you can have the pinky finger on the usual side. With an exhalation, start by coming to a half lift. Holding there for a moment. Head in line with the spine. And then when you feel ready, either with bent knees or straight legs, with an exhalation, release into full Yoga Mudra, head traveling toward the ground, hands traveling toward the sky. Again, not striving for a particular range of motion, but certainly noticing if there is striving or wanting. But being here simply to release the head below the heart. Being here to breathe. And being here to feel your body. From the tips of your toes to the crown of the head. So with your next exhalation, release the hands to the low back. And with the inhalation, rise up. All right, inhale the arms up and overhead. With an exhalation, fold forward. Bring the left hand under your nose, and then just take a few little twists by bringing the right elbow up and down a few times. Kind of like a little pumping action here to bring a little bit of twisting movement into the spine again, just getting us ready, warming up the spine. You're moving, of course, at your own speed, noticing if there's a desire to move faster or slower, and then making a discerning choice about your own rhythm. And then the next time your hand touches down, switch sides, right hand under the nose, left elbow up and down. Again, making a discerning choice about speed and range of motion.
And the next time your left hand touches down, take a moment here. And then with your next inhalation, rise up, your choice. You might do a reverse swan dive or a roll up or a neutral spine, whatever seems appropriate for you. As you return your hands to your heart for a moment, to notice the effect from having been inverted for quite a bit. If there's a little bit of lightheadedness, know that this will pass quickly as your blood pressure re-regulates itself. As your breath begins to smooth out and slow down. Notice what's happening in the stories of your mind as you sense into the vibrations in the body. And then release your hands. All right, from here, a wall will be helpful if you would like to have it. I will demo at the wall so that you can see how beautiful it is to have the wall available. But if you don't have one, you can still absolutely do this. I hope you can still see me okay. So you'll basically just stand maybe an inch or two from the wall. Kind of depends on your body shape, how close you want to be. You don't actually have to touch the wall. You just have to know that it's there in case you want it. Just helps settle your nervous system when you do balancing. And so from here, I invite you to lift your right knee, really grounding into the left foot, and then catch the right knee. And just patiently, I'm going to step to my mat so I can see you better. Just patiently noticing how the left leg is continuously recalibrating here to keep you upright and to keep you balanced. And so you might drop your full attention into that left foot, inviting it to ground. At the same time that you're drawing energy up through the left leg, engaging the quads, the glutes, the low belly. And then release the left hand if that feels fine for you. You can always use other variations. Bring the right hand to your knee and gently open that right leg out to the side. Holding there or moving. I noticed a couple of you might have wanted to go back and forth, which is totally fine. Or you can hang out. It's your choice. Be fully attentive to how the body is responding to this challenge, and notice if the breath is equally responding. There might be a little bit more dysregulation in the breath to sort of constantly recalibrate to be still here. This is the movement within stillness that I like to talk about. And then bring the leg back and step it down. And just sort of wiggle it out a little bit before we do the other side. And always remember that your two sides are very different, so what may have worked on one side may not be equally successful on the other side, so just being okay with that as you ground into the right foot to lift the left knee and catch it with your hands. You might notice the difference side to side, and this is a noticing, it's not a judging, it's not a, oh, I'm more stable on this side or less stable on that side. It's just a noticing of how the body is adjusting, how the breath is adjusting, and then noticing whether the mind wants to spin a story around that. A story of goodness or badness. A story of how this might have worked better in the past or should work better in the future, just noticing.
And then bring your right hand to your side. You could, if you're in the middle of the room, you could park it on something to give yourself some stability if you're not at a wall. And then open that left leg up and out. And notice if there's any attachment to having a particular range of motion in your hip here. You know, we see these yoga models and their leg is all the way out to the side. And so sometimes we have a craving for that particular manifestation of the shape, but for many of us, that's really not realistic. If nothing else, because of the shape of the head of our femur or the shape of our hip socket, our acetabulum. And so just honor what shows up here, physically and in the breath. With an inhalation, bring that leg forward, and then very mindfully step it down. Yeah, so the habitual desire is to come back and whoop, right? And so we're trying to just do everything a little bit slower. All right, so ground into the left foot. And then go ahead and catch the right knee again. This time, draw the knee very, very high. Very, very high for your body, which may be way higher than mine is, or lower than somebody else's. So it's really, again, relative to your own bio-individuality. And then from here, see what happens when you open up. Just with curiosity. Just begin to get a sense of where your limitation is in your body in terms of opening the leg up, out to the side. And this is a limitation, not in the sense of limiting you, but it's a limitation in the sense of bone meeting bone, and you're not going to break past this. Then let your right hand, slide down the right shin until it gets to the ankle, and draw the foot to let it land on the thigh wherever it wants to land. Maybe it lands a little lower, maybe it even wants to land all the way at the shin or at the floor. It's all good. But the opening of your leg is your true opening. It's that opening that you found by first moving out. And then just be here for a moment in this tree pose, maybe choosing a hand position that feels auspicious, maybe at your heart. Or if you're feeling a little playful, you could let your branches sway in the wind. Sometimes trees fall over in the wind. The good news is our trees can get back up. Real trees, not so easy. And ultimately bring the hands back to the heart. And then go ahead and bring the leg back out, always keeping nice integrity in the knee. Bring it forward and step it down. Sweet. You might want to jog it out. My body said, okay, I need to jog that out a little bit. Just wiggle and move however you need to move to kind of cleanse your palate before we do the other side. And then, ooh, I like that. And then ground into the right leg. Catch the left knee. Press it up toward your chest, however high you can go. So the key here is that we are protecting the knee. We're bringing the knee into a nice integrated unit here, and we're keeping it that way even as we open the leg up to the side. We're not forcing the knee in any particular direction. We are only opening the hip. Sometimes people force their tree pose by torquing their knee, and we're just not going to do that. Then we let the hand slide down the left shin to the ankle, and we'll place the foot to the right thigh. If you're in the middle of the room, this is where it really becomes important to have that sense of opposing forces, where the left foot presses into the right thigh and the right thigh presses into the left foot to really bring you into balance. At the wall, what you're noticing is the natural opening of your hip. You're not asking the knee to come all the way to the wall. You're asking the knee to have landed where you met the bony limit of your hip socket and the head of your femur. That's like truth in advertising right there. Or in yoga language, that's satya. And it's also ahimsa, it's also peacefulness, in addition to truthfulness. And then take any arm variations you might want, maybe swaying in the wind, maybe just having fun, rowing a boat on a tree, whatever sort of lights your chili in the moment. And then bring the hands back to the heart. And bring the knee back to where you started, maybe giving it another hug, and release it to the ground and jog it out a bit. All right. Now I will come to my wall to show you where we're headed next. So, make sure you have a block handy. You will really appreciate it. And you might have one on one side of you and the other on the other side. If you have two of them, if you only have one, you can just come back for it. All right, now from here, we're once again grounding into the left foot. We're going to bring the right knee up yet again. And we're going to once again explore the range of motion of our hip here. If you want to, you can come all the way into tree pose. The thing that we'll do differently now is that now we will let the left hip move away from the wall so that the right thigh can touch the wall. And so you're probably at a diagonal now. Very few of us can actually open the leg and have the full back at the wall. And so just notice that that's where you are. That's satya, that's the truth of your anatomy and your hip joint. And then from that diagonal pelvis, take the right foot away from the thigh, step it down, and find warrior. This is an honest warrior. This is why when I cue warrior on the mat, I cue a diagonal pelvis, because for most of us, warrior 2 is not a pose where the back can be at the wall. And so now you can really, really feel that. And then from here, I like to use a block in Trikonasana, so I'm walking my right foot enough away from the wall that I can grab my block and have it next to my right ankle. The left hand comes to your sacrum, and as the right leg straightens, you can begin to turn the heart open. Again, you can be fully leaning at the wall here, or you might be working away from the wall. Doesn't matter. And then if it feels right, maybe that the left arm floats up. And then make a choice, make a discerning choice about how you want to hold your head. Do you want to look at your right foot? Do you want to look out into the center of the room? Or do you want to look at your left hand? And notice if there's any habit power that's trying to tell you what to do. And then make a choice. And maybe your habitual position is the one you choose, but at least you made a choice. From here, you can keep your right hand on the block The left hand returns to the sacrum. Now, this is going to be a funny transition. You're going to bend into the right knee just a little bit, and you're going to take the right foot, so the forward foot. I'm not miscuing it, I really mean it. The forward foot, and you're going to step it back so that it's behind the right block by about a foot. And then from there, the back leg comes up, and you're spinning into half moon. From here, your half moon might feel good enough that you want to just let go of that block under the right hand. You have the wall to give you sort of this joyful freedom to really rotate around your body. Or maybe the right hand stays on the block to help carry some of the weight. You decide. Then, when you are ready, go ahead and bring the right hand back to the block if you left it, and release the back leg down so that the right elbow lands on your right thigh for a side angle pose. It doesn't have to be a beautiful side angle pose. It's just a creative way of coming out of your half moon. Take a breath here and just reflect on where you just were. You were in this beautiful balancing posture. Are you still there, or can you be in side angle now? And then bring the left arm down, straighten the right leg, turn the right foot out, heel toe, or jump, or however you want to come back to center, and then do whatever you need to do to sort of clear your palate before you go to the other side. Don't skip that. Okay, it's really tempting to just jump right to the other side, but just notice what energy is building up in the body that might want to free itself, and just give in to that for a moment. The other side is still there. We're still going to do it, but just be here for a moment and see what your body wants. We sort of want to encourage intuitive movement too, right? Not just guided movement. But the body sometimes just wants to embody itself, not from the top down, but from the bottom up. All right, and then when you feel ready, either come back to the wall, or if you would like to try this, no, don't try it in the middle of the room if you have a wall, because it really is so nice to sort of know how to move your pelvis. So we're going to switch sides. You are going to have your back at the wall. Maybe you're touching, maybe you're not. That's your choice. And then ground into your right foot. Left knee lifts up. Just notice if there's an impatience in the mind. You know where you're going now, and so it's tempting sometimes to move more quickly on the second side. See if you can give yourself the luxury of working, if anything, more slowly. Bring that leg out. Come into your tree pose. And be fully present in tree pose. Feel your body, your breath. Notice your story. Notice any urgency to move on, or maybe a tendency to not want to move on. And then, when you feel ready, go ahead and turn so that the outside of the left thigh touches the wall, which means that the right hip quite likely is moving away from the wall and sort of facing diagonally into the room. This is your true pelvic position for Warrior Two, which is where we're headed next. As you release your tree pose and step the forward foot down, the back foot, of course, has to slide to create the length. of the stride for your warrior. If you would like to add the arms to warrior two, fully embrace it. And then if you would like, step the left foot a little bit away from the wall so that you can have that block handy for triangle pose. Bringing the right hand to the sacrum, the left hand to the block as you straighten the left leg. From here, make a discerning choice about your arm position and your head position. You can choose to look to the center of the room. You can choose to look to the right hand or the left hand. Breathe into your experience. Notice sensations in your body. Notice your heartbeat. And perhaps invite a sense of joy. And then when you feel ready, release the right hand back down to the sacrum. Turn just a hair to look at your left foot so that you're focused. And then, just as before, we're stepping the left foot back about a foot behind the block. And the right leg lifts up. And then from there, if you would like, you can spin open fully into your half moon. Radiating out from your center to your edges. Maybe you release the weight on the block, maybe you don't. Yogi's choice. Experience this posture from the inside out. How does your body feel? How does your breath feel? What is your affect here? Is there joy? Is there a story that's spinning in your mind? Maybe you've had enough and you can't wait to get out, or maybe you're so embracing this posture you don't want it to end. And then when you feel ready, you can step the hand and the leg down. Let the left elbow naturally glide onto the left thigh to find a very luxurious side angle pose of your choice. Maybe the right arm reaches up and overhead. Maybe it stays low. Just notice from the inside out how your body wants to handle this shape in this moment. And then release the right arm down if it was up. Straighten the left knee. Turn the left foot in and heel toe your way somewhere. And let this side of the pose wiggle itself out in your body, noticing intuitively what's there. And let your body move in whatever way it wants to express itself in the moment. And you could even close your eyes and really focus in on your energy, on your breath. Maybe there's a sense of excitement about where you've been, sense of anticipation about where we might go. Just be there for it all. And then whenever you feel wiggled out enough, you can come back to the center of your mat. You don't have to stay at the wall anymore, but you absolutely can if you would like. And then from here, we're going to go back to where we started. We're going to bring the arms up with an inhalation and down with an exhalation. inviting the nervous system to recalibrate itself by doing something familiar. Maybe this time around the eyes can close and you can literally feel this movement from the inside out. Feeling the shift in the body when the arms rise. Feeling the recalibration in the feet as the arms move down. Noticing the energy of your breath facilitating the movement. So much happening in your body, so much happening in your breath. The next time the hands are up and overhead, let the palms touch. Take a couple of rounds of breath here. With your next exhalation, let the palms travel through the central channel all the way to the side. Bring them back up. Let the palms touch. This time only hold for as long as you can comfortably hold the breath. And then when your exhalation wants to travel, your arms travel. 2 more times. Inhaling, arms rise. No movement, no breath. Exhaling, arms move through the central channel last time. Once you're back in standing, notice if you need to clear any stagnation anywhere, maybe some shoulder circles, there's a lot of arm holding. Maybe your feet want to step a little wider or a little narrower. Gentle movements now, no big wiggles. And then gently let the arms float back up. This time when the exhalation comes, let yourself fold forward. Coming into a forward fold. The hands can land wherever they land. They might be on your shins or on your feet or on the mat. Walk the feet mat width apart. And bend the knees so that you come into a squat. The heels can float or the heels can make contact with the ground. That's really your ankle anatomy that determines that more than anything. Also, if this is hard, you can put a block under your sits bones here so that you're like in a little squat seat on a block. And then notice if you can sense your heartbeat. Maybe you have to sense it virtually, or maybe your thumbs can reach the sternum and you can sense it from the inside out as well as from the outside in. Drop your gaze to the ground. And breathe. Breathe into this moment. Breathe into this practice. Breathe with gratitude for this body, this breath, this mind. Gratitude for your loved ones, your friends, your community. Gratitude for every moment in every day. And then release your hands. You can bring them behind you to help yourself settle your bum on the mat. As you find a seat, make sure you settle into a seat that you can hold for a couple of minutes. So maybe you have a blanket under the hips, or maybe you sit on a chair or on a block. And if it feels appropriate for you, you might choose to close the eyes, or maybe you'll bring them to half mast. And then invite your attention to draw inward. Invite your attention to settle at your yogic heart, the center of your chest. And tune in to the pulsation of life that happens right there in your body, as it does in every cell of your body. Feeling the expansiveness of your inhalation and the letting go of your exhalation. This pulsation of life is called spanda in Sanskrit. It's the ever expanding, ever pulsating universe. It's around you and it's inside of you. You're not separate from anything. You are connected to this pulsation of life. You are connected to a greater community. You are connected to a reality beyond yourself. A reality that transcends your own impermanence. And as you stay connected to this pulsation, let's move into a few moments of silence together. And invite your senses to move outward, reconnecting to the outer world, maybe noticing sounds or smells around you, maybe noticing the air on your skin, the aromas in your room. I invite you to find a deliberate way of placing your hands. Maybe the palms come together at your heart. Maybe they rest in your lap. Maybe they clasp your chest. Whatever feels appropriate for you as you bow your head for a moment. Reminding yourself with gratitude of your body, your breath, your mind, of your deep connection to a community and a reality that pulses and pulses and pulses. Thank you.